This is SBS World News. An unsolved murder in Adelaide more than 50 years ago was the catalyst for South Australia to lead the Western world on gay law reform. The relatively unknown story of tragedy and triumph is told in an upcoming performance opening soon in Sydney. It comes after a formal apology last Thursday from the New South Wales Premier to those convicted under former laws which criminalised homosexuality.
This Opera Australia cast is deep in rehearsals. Its upcoming performance of Watershed is a harrowing and poignant piece of theatre and little-known Australian history, the death of law professor Dr George Ian Duncan in 1972. He drowned after being thrown into Adelaide's River Torrens by a group of men. The area was a well-known gay beat, a place where men gathered to meet and have sex.
There has always been this persistent rumour and whistleblowing within the corps that it was a job by off-duty vice squad officers. They had a practice, we're told, called teaching the poofters to swim.
No one has ever been convicted of his killing, but his death led to great change. 3 years later, South Australia became the first English-speaking state in the world to decriminalise homosexuality.
Adelaide citizens were horrified. They were outraged that something that a person of that stature should have met such a sticky end in their city.
Writer Paul Paik was a student in Adelaide at the time.
I was down at the beat there some days afterwards, and there was a lot of discussion amongst the gay men there as to what had gone on. And I realised that this was a flashpoint.
Paul, along with his friends, started a movement that snowballed. The slogan read, "How many more Duncans?" And the public outcry was too loud for the then Premier Don Dunstan to ignore.
We had no idea what would happen, and I don't think anybody ever knows what will happen as a result of what you do. We were very fortunate to be part of history at that time.
That history will take stage at the Sydney Opera House this month.
It seemed particularly appropriate to this that Christos Tsiolkas, Alana Valentine and Joseph Twist, composer, being gay people would mean that they would have a sense of identification that was particularly heartfelt.
None more than by Neil himself, who in the 80s was attacked at a beat in Sydney's Moore Park.
Out in a stand of paperbarks, I was grabbed from behind and swung around, and I was bashed straight in the face, and my nose was broken and there was a flood of blood. And there was a group of, I think, 4 or 5 young men who were screaming AIDS Pufta at me.
Shoving him, smacking him as he falls into the water.
Watershed is a modern tale of martyrdom, love and redemption, told in the musical form of oratorio, usually reserved for sacred texts, a reverence that the lead performers say strikes a chord.
To fail to recognise and understand history is to repeat history, and we can't afford for that to happen.
The music immediately transmits the emotional content quicker than you can with just spoken word.
The legacy of a quiet man with a loud impact lives on. Georgia Marr, SBS World News.